Right now, you are operating in a predatory marketplace, and your own attention is the product being liquidated. Every time you react to a notification or jump at an external whim, you exist outside yourself, handing your personal power to people who didn't earn it. Look at a glass of water and a diamond. Water is useful, but cheap because it is everywhere. A diamond is practically useless, but commands high value because it is rare. Reacting to every demand treats your attention like water. To stop bleeding energy, you must learn to manufacture scarcity. We are going to walk through a 4-step sovereignty protocol. This provides the psychological framework to build an armor of indifference and redirect your focus away from the noise of others. You only need 3 things to execute this protocol: your smartphone, a social environment where you feel undervalued, and 5 uninterrupted minutes tomorrow morning. Completing these steps shifts your position from a reactive follower to someone who dictates their own value through action rather than words. Step 1 addresses the silent leak. When you wake up and immediately absorb the news, texts, and opinions of strangers, you scatter your mental energy across 100 trivialities before you've even had a chance to define your own day. Tomorrow morning, you will execute the morning zero. When you feel the physical reflex to grab your phone, stop. Pull your hand back. For the first 5 minutes of your day, you will allow 0 external inputs. Blocking that immediate noise prevents your mental momentum from leaking outward. This creates a moment of containment, allowing you to establish your own internal agenda before the world begins competing for your attention. This foundational discipline relies on the logic of Stoic philosophers like Zeno of Citium, who observed that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. Every piece of silence you maintain acts as a shield against external distraction. By conquering those first 5 minutes, you secure your internal baseline. You prove to yourself that you are no longer merely responding to life, but directing your own focus. Now that we have secured the morning, step 2 applies this friction to your digital communication. We call this the psychological door. Starting today, you will stop sending instant replies to non-emergency texts. Let's look at this comparison. On the left is the current state of constant availability. On the right is the sovereign alternative, intentional, calculated delay. When a message arrives, let the screen lock and let time pass. In that physical gap of silence, you are training others to adjust their expectations. The delay forces the sender to recognize that your attention is occupied with things more important than their immediate demand. Do not fall into the trap of offering an explanation for the delay. Saying, "Sorry, I was busy," ruins the effect. Explaining yourself hands the leverage back to them and implies that they are entitled to an account of your time. Your digital absence must function as a deliberate statement. You are teaching others to view your attention not as a commodity, but as an earned luxury. Step 3 moves from the screen to the physical room. When you face disrespect disguised as humor or a passive-aggressive insult, your tool is the 4-second deadpan stare. The execution is mechanical. When the insult lands, stop moving. Do not argue or laugh it off. Look the person directly in the eyes with 0 emotion and hold absolute silence. Watch this timer. 4 actual seconds of silence in a social setting is a very long time. 1, 2, 3, 4. This vacuum creates a social pressure that the other person must sit with, forcing them to experience the weight of their own words without the relief of your reaction. Your biological instinct will be to break the tension with an awkward smile or a quick rebuttal. Suppress it. If you need a physical anchor to maintain your composure, press your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth. Refusing to engage robs the aggressor of social validation. It shifts the frame in your favor by making them face their own behavior in a mirror of silence. Step 4 focuses on pruning your environment through calculated inaction. You are going to quietly erase energy parasites and critics from your mental space by simply withdrawing your participation, offering 0 explanation or confrontation. To maintain this, you must build private fortresses. These are the critical areas of your life, your pain, your emotional triggers, and your next strategic moves that must remain hidden so they cannot be weaponized or manipulated by others. This rule applies especially to your ambition. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche argued that your internal fire must burn in private, isolated from the fearful and the jealous, before it can light the world. When you announce your plans prematurely, you invite interference. Success doesn't need to argue with critics. It simply happens, rendering their earlier complaints irrelevant by the time they see the result. By cutting off the supply of your personal information, you confirm that your internal peace is far more valuable than seeking approval through transparency. You now possess the 4 mechanics of the sovereignty protocol: the morning zero, the psychological door, the deadpan stare, and calculated inaction. It is time to apply these to your actual life. This checklist outlines the 7-day sovereignty challenge. Starting today, you will commit to zero disclosure, maintain your morning zero, practice a 3-second pause before reacting to any trigger, and make yourself intentionally less available. For the next week, zero disclosure is the priority. Do not announce a single plan, goal, or boundary to anyone. Let your actions be the only evidence of your change. As you stop chasing people and become less predictable, you will notice a shift in your social environment. When your attention becomes scarce, its value naturally increases in the eyes of those around you. It is time to stop performing for an audience that is barely watching. Start your 7-day timer, step into internal sovereignty, and let your results speak for themselves.